I don't want to make this vlog. Hi everyone. You will be watching this on Monday, September 16th, 2013. And I heard something on the bus the other day that really disturbed me. So I want to talk about that now. I know that 9/11 was last week and it was actually on Allie's vlog day, but this didn't happen until Thursday, so I'm talking about it now. The bus I ride to school is full of about 30 plus elementary school kids and then about 10 high schoolers. I'm used to hearing some really unusual things on the school bus, but that's what my iPod is for. This, on the other hand, I couldn't ignore. I should go on a record of saying that the bus I normally ride is being serviced, so we have one of those old buses as a substitute, you know, one of those with the really echoey ceilings. There's one stop that's before my stop, and that stop consists of one child who gets on the bus. And as I was getting on the bus, he was talking to the driver about how he was watching videos, I'm assuming like the documentaries, about 9/11 the night before. And the bus driver looked at him and said, "Good, don't you ever forget." And as I was walking to my seat, I was thinking, right, don't ever forget the men and women that we lost that day. But as I slid into my seat, he went on and said, "Don't ever forget who did that." Here's the deal, guys. I understand fully and completely why we put our flags at half-staff and why we have our moments of silence on 9/11. I understand why we watch the chilling footage and remember what happened that day. Because it was a day of immense loss. My heart aches for the firefighters, police officers, pilots, men and women, and innocent bystanders that we lost that day. My heart aches for the children who lost their moms and dads, and my heart aches more for those who lost their loved ones overseas who were trying to avenge those men and women. I feel for them in the same way that I felt when I was sitting in Mr. Goodell's classroom last year and I first read of the Sandy Hook school shooting. In case you didn't know, I went home that afternoon and cried for a good hour. My parents took me to see The Hobbit and I tried to enjoy the movie. I truly did. But I just couldn't cope. I couldn't stop thinking about how it was almost Christmas and those little kids were looking forward to Christmas and spending time with their moms and dads and their families, and those parents who had to go home to the Christmas presents that they had bought and wrapped and that they weren't going to get to give to their kids. And I could not handle it for the longest time, and I still cannot handle it. I will never forget the significance of December 15th, just like I will never forget the significance of September 11th. And I hope that you guys don't either. I hope that the people in this world remember that day and empathize with the losses that occurred on both of those days, and on every occasion where we've had great loss. But sometimes, people in this country need to reevaluate their priorities. Teaching our children to be as bigoted and hateful as the generation before will do nothing to stop the perpetual cycle of violence and death. We will never move on as a nation if we continue to breed ignorance and hate. Vengeance is not sweet. It may seem sweet and before you get it and until you get it, but when it comes down to it, it is bloody and not worth it. And I understand and I agree with that killers should be brought to justice. People who do bad things should face the consequences of their actions, but convincing a child that that stereotype and that hatred should continue on for generations to come, haven't we done enough damage? Haven't we already taught our children to be unnerved by people who look like terrorists just because they have a certain skin color or a certain way that their facial structure is or what they look like? Our country should remember September 11th to thank the men and women that died protecting our freedoms. And we should respect the losses that occurred that day. But killing death with more killing? Main point of the story, I want to live in a hate-free world. Which I acknowledge is not possible. But I can keep pushing. I want to say thanks to all the firefighters and policemen and emergency responders and military personnel and all the lovers out there. Keep doing what you do. See you guys later. Vlog on.